On today's show, the craft of cocktails, whipped up with one key spring ingredient. All of this, the DNA of a special Minnesota sugar bush. A Minnesota photographer turns his property into a wildlife sanctuary. And the tale of a family that never misses spring crappie fishing.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hey everybody, Bill and I welcome you to Minnesota Bound.
Up first today, we head to the Crow River on a snowy trail that leads to a tasty spring tradition.
What starts as a sugar bush ends at a fancy Twin Cities tavern.
Spring reunion for Walter Nachtigall looks like this. A lonely trail leads to the sweetest of spring camps.
But there's always a spring snow to remind you it's winter. Nature's little gift. Nice and clean, crystal clear. The earth is kind of waking up. Now you're out here in the woods and you get to watch all the critters come back. You're here watching it unfold in front of you. And it is such a blessing to be able to enjoy it. You just tap it in, hang it, and then I just pucker it down so it's actually dripping in the bag.
You can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So we've been tapping these almost 50 years.
An act started alongside his dad, right here, way back when.
There we go, we got fire.
In fact, the old evaporator still sits in camp. So does Walter's dad.
Yeah, he loved making sugar, holy cow.
Bud Nachtigall's picture, a perpetual reminder of what fires this family and this tradition.
He used to love stoking the fire. Best dad I could have ever had. I got pretty lucky. So when this is going, I've got my own little oven. I can put Cornish game in there, and it's smoked and seared to perfection in about 12 minutes. I just progressively move from this pan to this pan, so you've always got 2 pans boiling. The last one I call Peter Pan. It's usually a smoky boil, and that's really what the flavor is sometimes the best. It's really clear syrup, but it's got that smokiness.
Same story with the snacks.
How's that for dinner? I don't know if I can do any better than that. Life right now is pretty good out here.
Yes, Walter loves this syrup and this lifestyle, but what he does with it, that might be the icing.
So my favorite thing to make is the old-fashioned, which I incorporate my maple syrup with. It's not just for breakfast anymore. This is where I craft my career and my cocktails.
See, Walter mixes up drinks professionally. Been doing so for decades. He uses one key ingredient from camp.
Can't even imagine how many drinks I've made over 35 years. A little heavier on this because of the tartness of the citrus. When you see the maple syrup against the frothy glass, it really kind of makes a nice touch. These are more of a craft cocktail old-fashioned. This actually has probably made me a better, relatable bartender because I have many people that come in and they're fascinated by the stories of the maple syrup. If I can teach somebody something that day as well, then that's a bonus.
Walter's best-kept recipe, revealed right here.
It's a pretty simple one, not rocket science. Tea into a cup or whatever, and then hot concentrate. Just let it steep for a couple of minutes and you got goodness.
Yep, sweet sap is the base.
And then all of a sudden we started drinking sap, and it was like, I stopped bringing stuff to drink because that's all I would ever drink is just right out of the bag.
Lessons on mixing it up in life. Walter's story started long ago with a single drip.
And you can see that proof hanging from a tree in a bag and the sweetness within. It's pretty awesome to be a part of that. These are days you kind of live for. This makes all the hard work worth it. Definitely a gift.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, Ice Castle Fish House and RV, Leech Lake Area Tourism, and by Coors Light.
You ever wonder how award-winning wildlife photographers capture their best shots? Travis Frank met a Minnesota photographer who's willing to give away a few of his secrets.
Well before sunrise on a calm spring morning, Steve Olenschlager sneaks into a duck blind overlooking his backyard marsh. Steve waits for the daily visit from a few of his feathered friends. Like clockwork, Drake wood ducks court hens directly in front of Steve's lens.
You wait for 9 months of the year for this to happen again. And then before you know it, it's over.
That's why Steve never misses a chance to get his shot. Steve's a wildlife photographer with an undeniable passion for birds.
In the spring, if the weather's nice, every single morning I go out in the back for 45 minutes and photograph the wood ducks in the backyard.
Once the early morning duck show ends, Steve visits his other feathered friends. Inside a complex of hand-built fences,
It's over half an acre of pens.
Steve Olenschlager raises dozens of native upland birds.
Greater prairie chicken male. They're being a little feisty. Sometimes they bite you pretty good. But you can see that's their air sac. They blow it all up like a balloon.
Spring's arrival signals mating season for these birds too.
Spring comes and they start courting. As the daylight gets longer, everybody starts talking more. And eventually one day it's like your whole backyard's alive. This is where their nest is. They lay eggs between noon and 2 o'clock. Try to raise up about 100 of them every year. There's only 3 of us that breed these in any numbers in the whole United States and Canada. Yeah, there's only just 3 of us. I've always raised birds my whole life. It's just something that I can't live without them. How are you today, huh? Are you good? Are you? Huh? It's just cool. And I've always had a soft spot for natives. Right now we have about 35 prairie chickens, 5 ruffed grouse, 5 spruce grouse, 5 ringneck pheasants, and I have a trio of Cabot's tragopans. These are the only thing that I raise that are kind of like truly exotic. They're from China. They're some of my pride and joy. They're very rare. It's like they're very endangered in the wild and very rare in captivity. Yeah, he thinks he's sexy. I'm maxed out. The inn's full. There's no more room.
Steve's bird ranch isn't open to the public, at least not yet.
Most people don't know. They just don't know what I have. It's like, and they're like, you raise all that? And first they'll tell you that you can't do that. It's like, yeah, you can, you know. It's difficult, but it can be done. But yeah, she's got 4, 5, 14. That's about normal for a first clutch. She'll raise them up in here, just like in the wild. They're just our fun pets. It's just kind of cool because he's watching the mom raise her little babies, because this will grow up in a nice thick jungle and something to come out and watch.
And of course, something for Steve to photograph.
Normally I'm out here for about an hour and a half in the morning taking pictures and just watching them. It's just to keep a self-sustaining population, and I'll never be able to raise thousands of them, you know, but it's important to do, especially with the prairie chickens. You know, it's like it's a race from our memory that one of the most abundant game birds that ever exist in North America is, you know, basically gone, all because of habitat loss. So it's like I keep them just to remember.
Unlike his birds, Steve's photos may just last forever, thanks to a photographer's love for birds of every feather.
Closed captioning provided by Star Bank.
You know, spring crappie fishing can be quite the addiction. As Ron Scherer reports, one family never misses a chance to fish, all 4 generations of them.
Most families have traditions. If you're the Diotis family, the tradition is crappie fishing at the Minnesota-bound crappie contest on Lake Minnetonka.
Going out to Ron Scherer's crappie contest, oh yeah.
My fishing rod is cool.
And nobody keeps traditions like the Diotis family. Get this. This is the 50th year of the contest, and this is their 50th year of participating. Everyone a memory.
My role today is I captain the boat, get them out to the fishing spots where they want to go.
I am the great-grandma. I have my son Johnny and his wife Cher. I have my grandson John Daniel and the 4 great-grandkids. So there's 4 generations on the boat.
Yes, fishing is about family, time on the water, but also catching.
Oh, you got a monster. You got a monster on there.
That's the best part of the day, seeing all the grandkids catching fish. I mean, that's really what it's about when we go out.
Oh, yeah.
They're fun catching with the little kids, because they can usually do pretty good getting them, and that's usually it's me and my mom or grandma just kind of taking them off the hook and getting all the worms for them and everything that way.
As you might guess, when kids go fishing, there's never a dull moment on the water.
A couple years ago when we were all out on the boat, Levi was casting his rod out and it went in the lake and he lost his rod. So that was pretty sad. And Ron asked him, do you like fishing? And he said, no, I don't like fishing. Fish on, fish on. Woo! Yeah!
I got 2 little daughters, Paisley Rose and Chloe May, and they absolutely love fishing. And when they catch fish, Paisley, my oldest, she just gets super excited. So she'll run all the way in the back. She gives Grandpa and Great-Grandpa a high five and says she's the best fisherwoman that's ever lived. And she just gets so excited. It's just awesome.
Now, is there a Diotis family secret to catching crappies?
Putting a worm on the hook.
His secret is paying attention to what the great-grandpa tells him. They always outfish the old-timer. They won't give me a break. They don't cut me any slack.
I got the biggest! I got the biggest! Can I have $1?
When the fishing is done, this family is not only competing in the Minnesota-bound crappie contest, but they compete in their own family contest as well.
I caught the longest fish. Yeah, it's green and it's kind of seaweed.
Who won that year?
Me.
Because you had the most fish, huh?
I caught 14 fish.
And who will win this year's Minnesota-bound crappie contest? Well, you never know. But you could say the Diotis family is already a winner.
Straight ahead, a retirement secret uncovered by the campfire. The Whipples explain how they retired to life living in state parks.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Oreo Cookies and Ritz Crackers, Mountain Dew, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Up next, we head to Mille Lacs Lake, where 2 state park guests never leave.
Sort of. The Whipples live in state parks. They turned a dream into their retirement reality. If life is an adventure, base camp might be campsite number 50.
You ready?
I'm ready.
A temporary but home sweet home to Father Hennepin State Park's 2 biggest fans.
And every time we come up here, it just feels like, we're home again.
Jeannie and Dwayne Whipple keep a close eye on the park.
It's really clean down here.
Just a campground host. And just do PR for the park, and then whatever jobs they assign you, each park is different. Looking pretty good down there.
Yeah. Hosts are helpful, but they're our information source in the summertime. For the parks I manage, the biggest thing is I want them to be available to the campers.
Yep, and these guys are all a group, and they're all gone 4-wheeling for the weekend.
Turns out park execs got more than they bargained for when the Whipples signed up.
Yep, nothing wrong with working. Working's good. Laid a lot of trails, painted almost every building here.
There's no job that they're unwilling to do. Well, they are definitely some really hard-working folks.
We just always have loved being around people, you know, watching the campers come in, helping them out in any way.
Almost all Minnesota state parks offer a spot for helpers.
Typically, our hosts come for a month at a time. We've always had people interested, so we kind of limit them to a month.
You usually get a free full hookup site wherever you're at in exchange for 15, 20, 25 hours a week of work.
Which is where the Whipple story takes quite a turn. I better just let them explain.
I don't know, it just kind of happened. We thought if we had to go back to work, we will.
The Whipples retired, sold darn near everything, including the house, and turned summer camp into all 4 seasons.
For 12 years, we've been just moving around every few months somewhere else around the country.
They start late spring at Federal Dam Campground on Leech Lake.
And then in the fall, it's up here at Father Hennepin.
When leaves fall and snow flies, the Whipples drive south, way south.
We're between Austin and San Antonio in a state park, and it's called Lockhart. We stay there for January, February, March. Then we slowly work our way back up to Minnesota.
The biggest thing is, what'd you do, win the lottery? I said, no, we never won the lottery. Just work hard and save your money and live simple.
We just really enjoy it. Just volunteer, stay free, live free, no tax, no utilities. Very simple.
Just a few crawfish.
To self-proclaimed volunteer vagabonds.
This is a great lifestyle.
Literally, no baggage, no stress.
A lot of times we stay at the same park for 3-4 years or so, and then we like to try to find something a little bit different, do something a little different.
But when you work this hard, seems no one wants you to go.
Yes. Sometimes people have said that, we're taking your tires off. You're not leaving. You have to stay here.
Somebody that's really willing to work hard, like both Dwayne and Jeannie are just invaluable. It's like having an extra couple of staff members.
It's funny where life takes you. People who retire so they can work.
Oh yeah, we have no intentions of quitting anytime soon.
Warm winters in Texas and fun summers in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good combo.
Crazy, but they're living the dream.
Well, that about does it for us. We'll see you back here next week.
In the meantime, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433.